Stop your computer, man. I swear to God. You there?
What's
there
up?
You are.
Yeah,
here we go. Studio Game Report. Kyle and Nash. We literally just finished recording a podcast with our good friends Big Jim and Matthew Leeson on the Huddle Up Podcast, and now we're going to record our studio report here tonight. Simple show today. 2 topics: midterm grades, college football playoff reaction, rankings reaction.
Oh, and no section about why EJ was so wrong about the Cowboys.
We can hit that up on the Cowboys segment if we want to.
No, we don't need a whole other segment. We're going over.
It's pretty fucking bad. My thing was like you guys can give me like 2 weeks, and then say it was wrong. 5 days, like really?
Well, okay. So because here's the reason why I couldn't let you slack. I couldn't. I'm not prepared to speak for Matt and Jim. I even gave you on this show last week a nice little walkthrough and like the superhero origin story analogy.
Yeah, I remember that.
What the Cowboys have done, and then they didn't win the boss fight. Actually, it's not like they just didn't win the boss fight. Like Batman, what you just did was produce a situation where Zaz beats Batman. Do you understand?
Right.
Okay. Where some henchman, like one of the henchmen in the video games, kills Batman in this scenario, and you had already declared him beating, well, not the Joker, but competing with the Joker, like setting up for the Killing Joke. There you go.
Right. Well, I guess what you're saying is this. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not going to argue with Denny Green. What do you want me to tell you?
I'm not doing that. Rest in peace for Denny Green, of course. Yeah. All right, so we are at the halfway point of the season, I believe, or at least we were last week, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. So, of course, you're the student of the game. I'm going to go ahead and this is about you here. This is your platform here to teach us here. So we're going to go through all 32 teams in the league right now at that point and give them a letter grade as we are now entering week 10 of the year. So let's go. We're going to go in alphabetical order from A through W, I guess, Washington last team on the list. So let's start first with the Arizona Cardinals, who are 7-1.
Listen, folks, I know that they haven't been where you want them to be, but where so many people had them missing the playoffs, EJ Christian and I, even though he did it by copying my paper, all tried to tell you that this team was legitimate. If you give this team anything less than an A, you're just wrong. I mean, like, I don't know that they'll stay that way. What with Kyler Murray getting a bit dinged up here and there, that's a problem. But for now, you certainly have to give them an A. They certainly did enough to pass their midterms. The thing is, can they find their folder and their study notes to finish the season and do well in final exams?
Oh, he did that. Study notes. This is a dork. No,
dude, I'm the student of the game. I've been doing academic analogies for how many years, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. A plus, honestly. I mean, they've almost had to. I mean, I thought it'd be a playoff team. My team being this good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Same with me. Right.
And they got quality wins too. To beat the Titans, in Tennessee, beat the Rams in LA.
I was about to say they have more quality wins than the Titans, but okay.
No, I'm saying they beat the Titans. So, I mean, they have quality wins to justify where they're at. Definitely an A. All right, next team here, the Atlanta Falcons, 4-4, somehow, some way.
I'm going to give them a C, but I'm going to watch them closely because I'm pretty sure they cheated off somebody's paper to get the grade that they got. Either that or they guessed. I can't tell exactly. But, I mean, if you had them winning 4 games, because I'll tell you what, Ernest question at this point, I didn't. So,
yeah.
Them beating the Saints was also surprising in itself. Granted, Trevor Siemian starting at quarterback has probably just a little to do with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to take somebody else giving a wrong answer on a test as an excuse to penalize a team. And even though, again, them being fraudulent as they've been, I'm going to look at their paper really close. But at the end of the day, EJ Christian, I'm going to put them at a C.
I'm with you too. C plus. I've heard give them a B minus because say what you want. They are. I mean, they're 4-4.
Okay.
For dead, but C's right there.
hold on, pump them brakes, kiddo. Okay. A loss to Sam Darnold, who apparently everybody hates now,
Yeah.
and the WTF. I'm sorry, the WFT, better known as the Red Tails on this show.
That's right.
Just
No,
saying.
No. C's accurate. I said, like I said, I considered it. It's like, wait a second, no. Let's slow down. C is where it should be for the Falcons. They're lucky to be where they're at now, honestly. All right, the Baltimore Ravens. They are I believe 6-3. Well, 7-3. Let me see the record.
No, right, yeah, and I'll tell you this much about Baltimore, and we've had the conversation about how.
Sorry, 6-2. I apologize.
Say again.
6-2. I apologize. 6-2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I to be honest, you were setting me up. I didn't hear exactly what you said anyway. It's okay. I mean, listen, buddy, for me at day's end with this, I'm kind of in that position. Like they've had, I mean, their schedule we knew wasn't going to be simple, and it's turned out to be just a little bit harder than we would have thought it was, right? I mean, yeah, sure, this is the team I picked to win the Super Bowl, and this is a team that has my predicted MVP on it, no question. Okay, but are they? First of all, like at 6-2, they're meeting expectations, right? Mm-hmm. Granted, I did not expect them to lose to the Raiders in the first week. People were all like, "Oh my God, that's bad." Then they beat the Chiefs and they barely snuck by the Lions. Oh my God, that's bad. Then they dominated the Broncos to expose them, going all Janet Jackson halftime show. And they crushed the Chargers only to get harshly spanked by the Bengals. I could see somebody going after this team, but considering injuries, they have basically a no running backs that they started with, and no over-the-top threat because the rookie they drafted for got hurt, right? I'm not going to go homer with my predictions and say that they too have an A, but I'm definitely going to put them at a B. The big games, like I absolutely, the reason why I'm giving them a B is what happened with them and the Bengals. And I'll say B plus to be fair, because 6-2 is a good record.
No, I'll give you plus here too. Also, I think look at where we were the week before the season started.
Yeah,
lose Peters, lose every running back on that roster. We're thinking, okay, this team is going from a contender to like, are they even a playoff team at this point?
Right.
So the fact they're in first place right now in their division, in a good division right now by virtue of records, and they're actually in the mix for a number one seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and their situation right now is why Lamar Jackson is my MVP leader. Mm-hmm. So 100%. All right, next team here, the Buffalo Bills, 5-3.
There's too many situations where I find myself saying, "Oh no, Buffalo." And I'm not just talking about this past weekend, right? They opened the season losing to the Steelers based on some special teams mishaps, so to speak. They found a way to blow it to the Titans, which I still can't account for. Sure, they beat the Chiefs, but that didn't mean now what it did then, right? The Bills have done what they're supposed to do, but the games they're supposed to win, they are dominating. I think the only reason why I'm not giving them a B- is honestly what happened this past weekend, right? They kind of backed themselves into the midterm section. They got a C, and they have plenty of opportunity to raise it. I don't think there's a way that they play themselves out of Super Bowl contention. I don't penalize them too much because their schedule, I could argue, gets significantly harder in the back half, right? Featuring games against the Colts who aren't necessarily that difficult. The Patriots, who are twice, who have Bill Belichick, so if they have weaknesses to be exploited, they'll be exploited. And the Bucks are on the schedule too. If they can get through that and some of the less good teams like the Falcons and the Jets, then, well, yeah, we'll see them in the playoffs high. But I'm going to go C.
I totally agree with you on that one. But speaking of the second half of the year, the wins they've had, they won the way you're supposed to. A couple concerning losses, especially this one against the Jaguars this weekend. Mm-hmm. Interesting now with the Patriots down only half a game behind. So all of a sudden it's become a race. Buffalo went from being a lock in the AFC East, which I would probably still say they're going to win the division. But the Pats are playing some good football. So we'll see how that turns out the next second half of the year. All right, next team here we have the 4-5 Carolina Panthers.
You know, they were pretending a while there earlier, but on this show, you had me on record when they played the Cowboys was the test. They did not do well. They're doing good on homework, EJ, but they're not doing good at test time. Okay. Right. And then they started slacking off their homework because they were demoralized, and then the Giants gave them a wake-up call, making them realize that homework was important. And so they beat the Falcons and then had a tough time in another test against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I mean, that's what happens. And oh, by the way, the back half of their schedule, not doing them any favors. Both Buccaneers games are in the back half. The Cardinals are their opponent this weekend. And the Bills somewhere in there too, as well in December, I might add, I believe. Yeah, and that's in Buffalo. So because if they find a way to improve, I want to give them an opportunity to get a better grade. I'm going to put them at a C. Yeah, at a C, because I'll put it this way. The back half of the schedule gives them an opportunity to improve. But yeah, you need to study up here, Panthers. And by the way, people calling for Cam Newton to get a job there, stop it. His arm is shot. His arm's been shot. Stop it.
I can be honest with you. I'm going to go B for one reason only. One reason only. They're at pace what we thought they'd be this year. Frisky team. Can't quite get over the hump, but they were a 7.5 win win-loss projection. So they're on that pace to win 7-8 games. So technically they're on the pace where they should be.
With the easy part of the schedule, right? Let's reiterate that. Okay. Yeah. So that's why I said C. C is you're exactly on pace. They're not outperforming anything.
Well, we'll see what happens second half of the year, obviously. All right, sure. Next team here, the 3-6 Chicago Bears.
If expectations, EJ, are truly a part of your evaluation, is there a way you can actually penalize the Bears based on that going into this? I mean, heck, they beat the Bengals, which is impressive on here. They beat the Raiders, another impressive win, and they're constantly improving. 3 out of their past 4 weeks were against tough teams, right? And here's the gauntlet: Packers, Bucks, Niners, Steelers. And as weaker teams go, the Niners, not all that bad. With, by the way, since I believe week 3, a rookie quarterback in Justin Fields. Listen, I think I'll put it this way. I don't know if I had them winning 3 games all year, and Justin Fields has done some stuff. So the back half of the season, you got some tough games. The Packers, again, is the oldest rivalry in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to put C here. I'm not going to be in any position to thrash them because they are outperforming, but they still got to show me more to be worthy of an A, right?
Yeah. Matt Nagy, is he done, you think? Or where are you on the Nagy thing now?
Matt Nagy, it's too soon to call that, actually. If Matt Nagy goes, you can't go 500 anymore. I hate that. But
me too.
If Matt Nagy actually gets this club to 8 wins, not only should he keep his job, he should be a coach of the damn year candidate. Okay? Let's put that out in perspective.
Alrighty. Let's go next team here. The 5-4 Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals. Oh my gosh. Like, the only reason they're not getting an A is because they started resting on their laurels and slacking off on their studies leading into the test, and then they bombed it, right? But see, that's the thing. You can have a high enough grade sometimes where you have an A, get an F somewhere, and still get a plenty high mark. I have the Bengals at this point at a B+. And simply the only reason they're not at an A is because of if they played the Browns close, I might have given them an A-. They did not. And that's a game that they'll have to play again for the last week of the season. Could be a situation where they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. If Joe Burrow and company do what they're supposed to do to win that game and get a playoff spot, we'll talk about their grade at that point. Maybe I'll give them a few extra credit points for effort. But at day's end, I'm going to put them right at that B+ spot.
All right, staying in the AFC North, the 5-4 Cleveland Browns.
The Browns really just don't pay attention in class like they need to, and I think it's affected some of their studies, right? They're too busy chatting with their friends like Colin Cowherd and things like that. See what I did there?
Yeah, I like that.
But but at the end of the day, the loss to the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, that's not necessarily a horrible schedule. The credit I'll give to them is that they are winning the games that they are supposed to win. And I honestly, as somebody presiding over this classroom, EJ, the biggest frustration I had is if they didn't spend so much time chatting in class, maybe, just maybe, they would be a football team that's a threat to win this damn division. Right now, they're not. They're 2 games out of it, and that's significant when one considers that the Baltimore Ravens ain't no joke. That being said, it sounds like they're trying to move towards better behavior. They're not hanging out with one of the problem children in the class anymore, Odell Beckham Jr. So there's an opportunity for improvement. I will give them a C+, but you could argue B, but I'll be honest, as the one presiding in this classroom, I'm just that disappointed and frustrated with these students, and I need to make a point to them so they can turn it around.
Especially a team that I think you and I both were on the same page that we're a playoff lock.
Correct.
So I'm with you on that one. All right, the 6-2 Dallas Cowboys.
Wow, the Dallas Cowboys. You kind of figured because, they're the rich kids and they have, all sorts of tools and stuff at the house that a lot of the other kids don't have, that they, based on their unfair advantage, they would at least get so much work done. But here you go. They're doing little things here and there, and you can tell they're applying themselves. You can tell that they want to be better students and that they want to perform well in class. Most of the time, unfortunately, not necessarily consistent every single solitary week, as we saw last week with that. But that being said, I'm afraid to mark them too low. I don't want to beat themselves up and do something like they may have done in earlier grades where they had struggles. So at the end of the day, I'm going to mark the Cowboys at a B. I really liked how they performed in some of the harder assignments like the Patriots and things like that, but I need them to show me more if they want to be an A, if they want to earn an A on their report card.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. Listen, man, I get it.
Yeah. All right, next one. The 5-4 Denver Broncos, the team that just beat the Cowboys this past Sunday.
As much as you heard me talk to other teachers in the other classrooms that we talk about on the Huddle Up podcast and things like that about how they're just not as good a student as everybody wants me to believe. The truth is, when I look at their grades and their marks throughout the season, they do pretty well, considering. Yeah, it's on a lot of the easier assignments, and when they're challenged, you kind of see that they don't do as hot. They kind of slacked off, realized that they weren't doing enough homework with 4 straight losses to a gauntlet of teams that was pretty tough, right? Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns. But now that they're, back to pacing themselves a bit, with the football team, they beat the Red Tails. And when they study, they realize they can do well and beat a team like the Cowboys. So with all that in mind, I'm gonna put the Broncos at a B-. I want to let them know they're doing well, but I want to let them know that they could still do better.
Here we go. This one, the 0-8 winless Detroit Lions.
Incomplete, right? And that's mostly because I'm afraid to hand an F to Man Campbell.
Yeah.
Like
Mama, there goes that man.
I'm in that place where I got to tell you, EJ, it makes me a little nervous. In Major League, there's a part where the lady goes, I didn't know they still had a team. That's where Detroit is getting to right now. You come in with Matt Patricia, still don't know why you fired Jim Caldwell back those years ago, but we won't get into that right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they can't handle it now, and their schedule doesn't get all that much easier. Frankly, what they've shown me is that Man Campbell needs to spend a lot less time in the gym and hunting and fishing and more time in front of a dang textbook studying the assignments.
So incomplete, huh?
Oh no, it's. I told you the real grade. I'm just afraid.
It's an F.
I didn't say it, sir.
I heard Detroit Lions fans called into the show.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, friend.
What's your friend, pal?
Not your pal, buddy.
All right, what's the next team here on the list? Let's go with the is it 6-2? Hold on, sorry about that. Yeah, 7-2. Sorry, 7-2. Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. Yeah. It's unfortunate that in other classes, like apparently they were caught selling drugs in the lunchroom or something. But yeah, the Packers, they started out a little bit weird, and they've had some weird home situations going on, and but are still good students. I'm going to give them an A-. I don't want to send the wrong message that when they apply themselves that they aren't good students. They just need to make sure that before they come to class again, that they have their heads in a good space and aren't listening to bad influences to tell them not to stay in school.
Yeah, stuff kind of weird.
That metaphor I spun.
No, I got that. But I was like, we're start to the year losing to the Saints on a neutral field after the whole thing with the hurricane, and then they've kind of sort of like, even though they went on like a 6-game winning streak, they were still kind of, yeah, I like this team, but are they a Super Bowl contender? And then they went to Arizona and did what they did. I'm with you. That is accurate. Let's see here. The 1-7 Houston Texans. 1-8. Sorry, 1-8 Texans. 1-8. Apologize.
Yeah, no problem. And it's easily an F. I mean, when you're unable to bring your books to class every week, why aren't you just withdrawing from school? It's obviously you're not interested in bringing the materials to class, and from what I understand, it's a legal issue as to why they can't. So for now, you just need to disenroll from school and come back next year, repeat the grade, and see what you can do once you could actually bring your supplies to class.
So riddle me this, Kyle. You went ahead and confessed that the Texans are F. You couldn't just name the Lions. Why is that?
Because I'm not afraid of their head coach.
Oh.
like the Detroit Lions or that kid in class that like is everybody knows that they're the member of the gang, so you don't want to cross him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right. I get it. All right.
That's why I had you say it for me. So like afterward, you're the one that's going to get shoved in a locker.
Oh yeah, like Screech. Recipe Screech. All right, the 4-5 Indianapolis Colts.
Boy,
This is
like this has literally got to be the toughest grade of any of the students in question here, right? Like I mean, so first of all, it's hard to really grade this student because before the first day of school, I'm getting a call from their parents about how they have illness already in the house, right? Carson Wentz getting hurt, Quentin Nelson getting hurt, all of that. And yet, somehow or another, they're staying competitive-ish in the AFC for a playoff spot. I mean, them beating the 49ers convincingly was not only an emotional heartbreak in its own right, but, proof that they can play a tough team, And listen, their game against the Titans was super close. I'm not prepared to hold that against them. Their game against the Rams was super close. Their game against the Seahawks was competitive back when they still had Rusty. Heck, their first game against the Titans wasn't all that big a differential. And the blatant Ravens are within a score. Listen, at some point, even in the classroom, Charlie, hustle matters. If I could see you're studying your hardest, and sometimes the results on the test don't necessarily go your way, I'm not inclined to penalize those students. I will give the Colts a C+.
I like that. All right, next team here, we have staying in the division, of course, the AFC South. We have the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars.
it's difficult with the Jacksonville Jaguars because, clearly going into the season, everybody knew they had a learning disability, right? This is their first year in a new school in a lot of ways because, you got a brand new head coach and a brand new quarterback coming in, and every week you see steady improvement, but they don't just quite you can tell that they aren't getting the grades on the tests, but the effort is there and you see the improvement. And while it's really easy to slap an F on them, they passed a really hard test this past week. And again, there were a lot of questions that they could have answered better, or a lot of things they could have done better in the assignment, only scoring 9 points. But man, their defense was so good, and they were so happy when they passed that test, EJ Christian. I'll tell you, it would be really demoralizing to just slap an F or a D on them with that. And I'm assuming they're going to keep in the right. I want to give them a high enough grade to inspire them to continue to study and have better grades. So I'll give them a C- for now. But if they start to pull back and they come away with fewer than those 5 or 6 wins, it will be impossible for them to give them a high grade.
I completely agree with you on this one because I think they've been, and not even just with some of the losses too, they've been trending up. I mean, now let's forget the Seattle loss a couple weeks ago, but other than that, they've been trending up the last couple month or so.
Yeah, that Seattle loss was difficult. I think it was a situation where they were just starting to get frustrated with how hard they were working and not getting the results they wanted. They just kind of burned that test, and I basically let them retake it in the form of this Bills game, and lo and behold.
Okay, here we go. This is probably should be one of the most fascinating teams here, and that is the 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm just this team. Whenever they come to my desk to talk to me, EJ, I give them the most devastating thing that any teacher can tell a student. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Okay. You told me you were going to do this and do that and impress me as a teacher, and you've done everything but that. You've come in with mediocrity when you were supposed to be the main kid on the block. And I'm going to show you that that's just not going to cut it. I'm not going to do anything drastic like give them a D+ or anything like that, but I am going to give them a C-. Okay? You need to know you need to do better in class, especially with your schedule upcoming, featuring the Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Chargers one more time. Oh yeah, and the Raiders next week.
A lot of divisional games and
Raiders twice actually. Excuse me.
From this week, I'm surprised. I would have given him a D, honestly.
I don't want to demoralize him, EJ, as a student. A D is probably right, but I've seen Patrick LaVon Mahomes II admit that he's not had his best games, and honestly, I think Andrew Reid needs to make sure that he stops flinging it down the field and playing football on a more fundamental level. This is something that has happened in his past. If you remember Brian Westbrook being one of the most prolific pass catchers out of the backfield, and yet they couldn't convert a 4th and 1, right? So it's something where they need to find a way to get back to dink and dunks and shorter plays and pull people in so they can beat them over the top with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Right. Okay, here we go. Staying in the AFC West, the 5-3 Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. I misjudged this team based on their home situation. I really thought they would be a difficult set of students, and lo and behold, the quarterback playing the best football in the division is Derek Carr. Who had that? You didn't. There are just times where they've done something that's mind-boggling, like losing to the Bears or the Giants this past week. I sent a note home, but I know they're having rough times at home, with the whole Gruden situation, so I don't want to be too hard on them. I'll definitely give them a solid B.
No, I'm with you on that one. You get the Gruden thing, and then we have that, the Ruggs thing. Then you have another thing happened recently this week with the cornerback, first round pick got cut by the team for making threats, whatever maybe. So they've gone through a lot of internal stuff, but they still managed to still stay ahead of the curve for the most part.
Yeah.
I give them credit for that. All right, staying in the division one more time, the AFC West, the 5-3 also Los Angeles Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers, I watched them from afar when they were in the previous previous grade level. Sorry. And with the Chargers, they showed a lot of promise. And they were talking to me before the year, hey, student of the game, we're going to be great. And, then you barely beat the Washington football team. Then you get beaten by the Cowboys. Then you come out and beat the Chiefs, Raiders, and Browns in succession, showing me that you're a big deal. You get crushed by the Ravens, happens to everybody, and then Belichick comes into town. I don't know. I'm not in a place to punish Justin Herbert and company just yet. But I'm not prepared to give them an A either. I'm going to go solid B here. And see how they do with the test that is the rest of the season.
Let's stay in the city of LA, the Rams, 7-2.
Yeah. With the Rams, I'm going to lead with the grade on this here. I'm obviously going to give them an A. They did a very good job of picking the tools to help them succeed, the Stafford trade and all that. I love that they've acknowledged that they want to help Aaron Donald on defense do some things. And so they brought in Von Miller. That's fantastic to me. Obviously, the only real issue I have is they did not study well for their last test against the Titans. And that loss to me is unacceptable. But everything else on their schedule is fantastic. A all the way.
2 losses, 2 blowouts. Any concern? Cardinals and Titans.
No. Because those to me are just showing that little Shawnee McVay is not as smart as he thinks he is.
Another McVay shot. All right. Let's go to my local team here. That is the Miami Dolphins, who are 2-7.
Yeah. This is one where I had to straight up have him go talk to the principal. These guys here, the Miami Dolphins. I was impressed early on that they beat the Patriots, but then again, should I have been? And then you talk about blowout losses. They actually got shut out one week by the Bills. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just there are more L's here than I can find in several alphabets. Okay. And then you come back and beat the Texans. I'm supposed to be impressed. I'm going to go straight up F. This was supposed to be the end of the 5-year mission where they were supposed to explore strange new worlds, seek out new playoff games and new civilization, and boldly go where the Finns haven't been in half a century. And this ain't happening.
Yeah, with you on that one. All right. Let's go with the now 3-5 Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings go to art class every day and are asked to paint something, and you always find them doing it with their fingers instead of the brush. Okay. The Vikings have not impressed me at all, and in big moments they continue to slink. You like that? See what you did there?
Yes, I did that.
No, I'm just completely unimpressed. I'm going to go D+.
I'm with you. I think their coach is on hot seat, definitely.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think he's the problem.
No,
I really don't.
Why is his name blank on me? I don't know why. It's too late in the night.
Oh, what, Mike Zimmer?
Yeah, there we go. Zims, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that too. Just couldn't say it. All right, next team here we have the 5-4. My favorite team, apparently, according to you. You know who they are.
Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah. And listen, I understand. Riding your bike to school every day when the chain to the bike in question keeps breaking is just infuriating. And yet you come to class every day and give me your best effort, Patriots. You had all the drama surrounding Brady leaving, and now people are trying to say, throw SJW cards at you for not bringing Cam back, which is the single most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, by the way. Mm-hmm. And we're Cam fans on this show. We've established that, right?
That's right, baby. Come on. Since 2015.
I mean, it was time. And listen, at the end of the day, they started out struggling, but as the year went on, the Patriots have done some things. And I'll be honest, in their class, their earlier tests were probably a little tougher than it was fair to put in front of them on their desk. I'm going to go B-, and I think they have an opportunity to still try to impress us here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, let's go with the 5-3 New Orleans Saints.
I don't know what to make of these students. Are you kidding me? These guys, 1 minute they come to class and they're ready to work, and you see something amazing happen, and then I mean they're in the level when they're very similar to those pesky Falcons. I got to make sure that they're not looking off someone else's paper and that they're completely fraudulent. They had trouble beating a Geno Smith-led Seahawks team. They're sneaking by. Well, I mean, they were dominant against
Green Bay.
Not Green Bay. That you're talking to open the season.
Right.
Yeah, put that Green Bay, and then they're semi-dominant against the WFT, and then they beat the Buccaneers.
Right.
I have actually put in. I haven't told their parents this, but I've actually put in a request that the county look into their test scores and the scantrons related to those tests. I'm pretty sure there's signs of cheating and fraud there. As for their grade, that makes it very difficult to grade them at this point, Ernest. But I'm going to go, I mean, they're playoff competing, so I can't put them below a C, so that's where I'll put them.
Okay. Here we go.
You heard me stalling, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, my actual favorite team, the 3-6 New York Giants.
Golly, I don't even know why they come to class some days, because I know they're not really wanting or ready to participate.
Yeah.
Geez, what do you do with this in this particular case? I mean, if you're such a fan, why can't you give me answers?
Because I myself am confused. I will say this much: Daniel Jones, while the numbers have been great most of the year, he has done the one thing I asked him to do: stop turning the ball over.
Yeah, taking care of the football. I don't think anyone really feels like Daniel Jones is the dang problem.
Which also presents another question now about extensions and whatever. So.
Yeah, no, that's not a joke either. Excuse me. So I'll put it this way: like, some of their losses are completely acceptable. The Cowboys, the Rams, fine. I'm gonna say a C for now,
Okay.
because they're starting to kind of breathe life back in. Their past 3 games, they trounced the Panthers. They had a shot at beating Patrick Mahomes II and the Chiefs, and they beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discourage improvement, by throwing them under the bus there. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to say C.
Okay. Let's stay in the same city, New York Jets, who are, I believe, 2-7 now.
I pulled them aside before the year even started, Ernest, and I'll tell you what, I told them not to play with kids like Zach Wilson, and they didn't listen. And so I feel like I'm compelled to have to penalize them a D for the Jets. I know the expectations were already low, and they're now just as bad, if not worse than that.
Are you a Mike White guy?
I'm not. The reason why I make it a big deal is because their self-inflicted wounds could potentially hurt their future. Like, if they're hoping to graduate and go to college one day, you don't do things like hang out with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. You've killed this season based on your draft, in my opinion.
All right. The 3-6 Philadelphia Eagles.
You gotta love how I'm sticking this analogy too, by the way.
No, you are. You're doing a great job. I see the fatigue a little bit now, because having to sell this shit.
No, it's fatigue because it's 11:22 at night, Ernest Christian.
That too. Well, that too. That's right. The Eagles, almost done.
Yeah, with the Eagles, listen, I see a lot of the other kids in class picking on them because of Jalen Hurts. And what I see as a student who's trying really hard and despite low expectations, comes to take every test every day. I'm not going to do anything ridiculous like give them a B. But I don't see games on their schedule that they've lost that I feel like they should have won, right? I think, we're probably going to get the Eagles tested for a learning disability. Maybe they're on the spectrum. Who knows? But at day's end, I don't want to demoralize them by giving them too low a grade too soon. If they're not, they're putting in the effort, I feel like I'm going to go with a C for the Eagles.
They've been frisky. I'll say that.
You and your damn frisky.
Hey now, frisky. All right, the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers stay in the state.
Wow. Like, I didn't know what to think of the Steelers going into the season. I was pretty sure that they were going to keep up the study habits that they've had in the past. But now that, we're learning with computers and iPads like that, some of those same techniques weren't going to work. And lo and behold, the Steelers come in and keep passing tests. They had to struggle a little bit and adjust to the classroom setting that we're in here in 2021. But Mike Tomlin proves once again why he's not going to the
USC.
to the USC job. That poor reporter.
Arguably coach of the year right now, right? Arguably coach of the year?
I'll say candidate.
Okay, top 3, definitely.
I'll say candidate. But yeah, looking at the rest of the schedule, nothing tells me that they will do anything less than have a winning season. And what more do we ask of our students than that? They're going to make the playoffs with a quarterback situation that it is, and give credit to this coach for his versatility, man, and this team overall. I'm going to give him A-.
I like it. All right, next team here we have, here we go, your San Francisco 49ers, who are 3-5.
They wanted to tell me that they belonged in the gifted program, and I warned them that there would be responsibility associated with that. I said, make sure you do everything right in the draft. And at least they listened to me from the standpoint that they did not draft Mac Jones. Would not have been a fit. However, they did not do enough, in my opinion, to boost their offense, and they keep wanting to use a pencil that breaks during every test in Jimmy Garoppolo. And then they do have Trey Lance, but then he got hurt. Some things they can control. Some things they can't control happened. And again, a bunch of hard tests. Like, listen to this murderer's row of teams that they've lost to, right? Packers, Seahawks, still with Rusty, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Cards, Colts, and Cards. So losing to the Cardinals twice, is that a sin? I don't think so.
That's right. Yeah.
All they're showing me is that they were pushed to the gifted program too soon. And maybe, I should not have acquiesced that request. I was pretty sure that, they convinced me they can handle it, had me picking them as a playoff team, and they did not produce.
All right. The Seattle Seahawks, who I believe are 3-5 as well. Yep, 3-5.
Yeah. It's not been the same. Apparently, they had a falling out with one of their best friends, and they're just not doing so well in class. It's affecting their schoolwork. Obviously Rusty being hurt is a problem. And Pete Carroll has done absolutely nothing else to help this team out, right? This front office has not helped this team out. You've needed protection, you've needed weapons, you needed better defense for years, and you keep on doing anything to address that.
Russell or bust.
Yeah, Rusty or Busty. And well, is this the part where you make a Sierra joke because I said Busty? Anyways. I'm going to say C-.
Russell's back this week, so he can turn things around. And the NFC play picture is getting a little bit interesting now going forward. So there's some room to improvement there. All right, here we go. The champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6-2.
They do what every student does when they think the work is starting to get easy. They slack off. Yeah. I mean, they came in being hot shots, thinking that they almost lost to the Cowboys. Let's put that where that is. And they did lose to the Rams, which isn't necessarily again. But what happened with the Saints is just unacceptable. They're still going to get an A, but if they keep up losses like the ones they have with the Saints, there's going to be a see me after class note on their test.
Almost lost to the Saints, to the Patriots also too.
Doink
on the crossbar.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they came in after a dentist appointment, very rough, having to deal with going to see Coach Belichick again. It was definitely a toothache kind of a situation there.
All right, the team with the best record in the AFC right now, currently, the Tennessee Titans, 7-2.
I don't know how they're doing it. They chat in class. All they want to do is seem to talk. But they still get their work done, and with what they're doing, winning convincingly with Derrick Henry gone. What that tells me is they've been studying harder than I thought. I thought they had given up basically on playing defense and were just going out to the mall instead. But it turns out at night afterwards, they stay up late and study hard for the tests, and it's paying off so far. So you got to give the Titans an A on this one, right?
Does it feel like that Jets loss is like years ago now?
It really does, actually.
Yeah, because that was a narrative for a long time. Well, you lost the Jets though, but the more they win, it's like I don't know, man. That Jets game seemed like a long time ago.
And it's not just that they won that game; it's more of how they've won the games since, right?
Yeah. I mean, talking about Coach of the Year, maybe Mike Vrabel's looking at Coach of the Year.
I wouldn't rule it out.
Absolutely. And finally, the last team on our midterms here on Football's Awesome, part of our Speaking Podcast, of course, the Washington Football Team, who are currently 2-6, and also part of my bottom 5 of this week.
Yeah, the Red Tails are definitely getting a see me after class message here, man. I get it that your starting quarterback is out in Ryan Fitzpatrick, but at the end of the day, your starting quarterback was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, guys, what the hell were you doing here? And even the easy games are difficult ones for the Washington Football Team. And then when they do compete, they shoot themselves in the foot. I'm going to give them a D, but only because of the trial and tribulation they've dealt with. And their expectations were low anyway. I think I had them winning 2 games all year. And they got a lot of problems at home. Getting notes at class have actually been a problem, because apparently they're getting inappropriate notes from teachers and stuff, we're coming to find out, based on the school board investigation.
Yeah. This is a team that made the playoffs last year, too.
Made the playoffs.
Right. I know. I get it. NFC East, we get it.
Least.
Right. Yeah. So that's this week. This our midterms of this NFL season. Quickly, we're gonna react this quickly. It's gonna be a long one. The new college football player rankings are out. Number 1, still Jordan. Well, right now, this real quick touch on it. We have to do a deep dive on this one. Honestly, just go react to what they have. Number 1, Georgia. 2, Alabama. 3, Oregon. 4, Ohio State. 5, Cincinnati. 6 and 7, really, because they showed a 7-2 also on ESPN. Michigan and Michigan State. So let's stand out to here based on this on a 7.
So when we saw the juggernaut that is Purdue beat Michigan State, we knew something silly was going to happen. But they still did their darndest to keep Cincinnati out, didn't they, Ernest Christian?
Yes, they did.
Ass. I still, Oregon, I'll say it again. Oregon's one big win with a Stanford loss to an unranked team is Ohio State, whose most impressive win is what? A 5-3 team? I don't know. Now, in the committee, say again.
Penn State, right? Right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, they were 5-3 last week. I don't know if they won this week or not. I'm assuming they did, so we'll say 6-3.
Doesn't matter anymore. So that should tell you right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, however, Purdue and Ohio State play this week. If Purdue wins, Ohio State should not only be out of the top 4, they should be unbleeding ranked. Okay. And if that happens,
let's see it, but
it won't. I said should.
Yeah.
But either way, if that happens, in my belief, both teams would get bounced from the 4th based on the committee's own logic. Not that they won't move the goalposts, But and then at that point, what do they do? That'll be interesting.
The only thing that stuff me real quick though, and nothing to do with the top. I'm not surprised at their top 5. Honestly, that surprised me what they did. I think they're wrong. I mean, since he should be number 3, and obviously, but I'm surprised Michigan and Michigan State 6 and 7 respectively, despite Michigan State beating Michigan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's asinine too. But what I believe the logic is well, Michigan outplayed them, but Michigan State had more points.
But then why? But then why were we playing games together if you're not going to? If you're not going to count head to head, so why? What are we doing here?
Well, I mean, we're talking about why we play the games. I mean, hell, we had that at 1 through 4, but your head to head point, sir, is made very nicely there.
Just saying. That's the only thing that's not to me, the 6 and 7. But again, I think that works out because they all play each other. Michigan played Ohio State later year.
Yeah.
So that now works out there. Another narrative too. Also, Oklahoma is still getting dinged. I mean, they had a bye this week, obviously, so they can't really do anything to change anything. But they're not getting, despite the shakeup on top with Michigan State losing, Oklahoma's still stuck in number 8.
And I think the only reason you did get that, Ernest Christian, is because they had a bye.
Yeah, and I also think the committee's going to wait to see what happens this weekend against Baylor.
Yeah, but here's what it is. Baylor has 2 losses. That's going to be damn interesting.
Yes.
Here's the shot I'm going to call right here. Either Baylor's going to drop, or both teams are going to drop. I don't think Oklahoma's in a position, unless one of the teams ahead of it loses or something really silly there happens. I don't think Oklahoma's in any position to gain ground yet.
Then again, though, last week we all said that the top 7, 8 teams all playing this week should go chalk, and yet that did not happen.
We did not account for the juggernaut that is Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue spoiled some shit. Wake Forest, obviously not part of the top 10 discussion, but they lost to they were number 10 actually in the rankings last week. They lost to was it North Carolina. So we've been saying this. It should go chalk, but this has been a wonky year in college football, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I want to rule anything out at this point. Although I do expect it to go chalk this week at least in the top 6 or 7, it should go chalk. But 8 too. I mean, Baylor might pull upset, so we'll see what happens. But who knows? So anyway,
I see a lack of faith in Jim's Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I think they're getting a little dinged up. I think they're getting a little judged here. I think it should be a little higher on the list, honestly, quite frankly.
I don't. What's their signature win?
Oh, that's true.
At this point, you know who it is? Mighty Purdue.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens, though. I mean, there's still another month of football ahead of us, and a lot of upsets that could happen, as we've seen this year. I mean, if the trend stays the way it is, then we should see more upsets. So, before we get going, plug what you got, man.
Yeah, so for the first time on this show, of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Here's the first timer thing. Find me covering UCF basketball, men's and women's, at the Black and Gold Banneret. It's blackandgoldbanneret.com. And, of course, check out my work with UCF football on threepointconversion.com. And, of course, I'll be covering bowl games with them as well come December. And then check out my work with podcasts and movies, checking if things should be considered required reading with Hilarity by Default. My friend Demosthenes Euclid on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. And check out my work with oldschool101.com's A7BN Sports and the Captain and Company morning show with my friend, Captain Chris Hill. Oh, yeah. And don't forget the Huddle Up podcast. I'm a special contributor.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, it's a pleasure. Get some rest. I see the wear and tear today.
Yeah. But today, past 4 days, man, listen. UCF Basketball Media Day Thursday. Friday, I was processing all that. And then Saturday was UCF football. Sunday was a Jags game. Monday was the presser with Gus Malzahn. And tonight was me finishing all those writings. And the only reason why I wasn't at the women's basketball game covering their opener at UCF was because I had to be a family man and look after my baby boy.
Gotta do it.
But you'll see me at Edition Financial Arena tomorrow night. My debut as I cover the debut of the men's team as they cover Robert Morris at Edition Financial Arena.
All right. we'll talk soon. Talk next week, as always.
All right, man. Take care, brother. Until next time, everyone. Class dismissed.
You got it.